again, so starting from what we said minutes ago about the lifestyle of people in KLONG, is that I'm passing that. They used to build themselves, to self-build the places where they're gonna live, and they just rely on the existing infrastructures, being the highway, the expressway, the canals, or the existing houses. They don't use as proper houses, but we got this blue house example, which is a house that we could think one family is living in. But people in KLONG used to divide the space inside with cardboard, and in a house that is 1 story, they built 2 or 2.5 stories to have storage on the first floor, and like 3-4 families living on the second floor. So they used the existing infrastructure, which is this house with 4 walls, one roof, and one soil, and they made 4 families living in by just extending and dividing the space. So from this, I wanted to work on this idea of really infrastructure, a framework in which the people who's living there could just design themselves their living spaces, and something that could be really adaptive and evolving, because we don't know if in the end they have to develop something really sustainable in KLONG. We don't know if they are going to be evicted in the end, because it's politically complicated. So it has to be both sustainable and really ephemeral and temporary in a way. So let's start a bit with some references of this idea, and like the drawings of Yona Friedman are a good example of this idea of framework city and self-building city from like a grid. And another example at another scale is the Kengokuma Chidori structural furniture elements that are made from one simple stick that can be assembled from one to a big furniture. So it's about this freedom of creating space as we want. And from this, we could imagine that people could just live in such a structural system and develop themselves the space, and that the space could be moving, assemble a new story if they have children, and depending on the family evolution, they could disassemble one place or something like this. So from that, we can see that, of course, it's something that a lot of architects are working on, about the framework, the grid, and the free adaptation of the space inside such frameworks, both on sustainable architectures or on really temporary ones, as the temporary shelters of Shigeruban, made of really simple elements like this and only fabric for people to live in. So I started from a 4 meters basis, which is a scale that we observed from the existing KLONG houses. So it's a start, and from this square we could, of course, divide it and extend as people already do it in KLONG. And in the end, we could, of course, assemble multiple examples of designs from this 4 meters basis. And in the end, they could like slowly convert or design a new KLONG somewhere else, or just make a better place to live on the existing site. Both on the Nongchok province, which is the province which I was talking about minutes ago. It's the land that is the first proposal from the government for them to develop a new slum outside of the city. So they could both develop something sustainable, as they did by their own means there. But my project is not going to be about this. It's just an example of how I want it to be both temporary and sustainable. But I will try to develop prototypes, 3 prototypes of as examples of the freedom of creation from this structural system, starting with a restaurant at the left, a market on the middle, and a laundry on the right-hand side, because they embody 3 of the main activities that people tend to have on the existing slum. It's the most common activities. So I will try to make them also embody the liberty, the freedom of design, and like the restaurant could embody some architecture, be more sustainable and well done, and maybe the laundry will be an example of something really more temporary and made of scrap, maybe more related to the poorness of the existing families there. And they will be like gathered throughout the slum to be in different communities, to show that this structural system can suit any place and any special situation, starting from this first site, which is the restaurant one, in the first community, Ban Kluai, on north of the site. So it will be a restaurant connected to the outside of the slum too. So it could welcome people from the outside of the slum as well as people from the slum. So the site looks like this. Actually, it's an existing house. The second site could be on the 70 Rai community in the middle, where is a big parking area. Not that used. In fact, there is some marketplaces during the week, but it's mostly parking. So I could try to extend the existing market. And the last one is I think it's a public space designed by some architects. It should be a sport court, but it's not used, because when designers come to KLONG TOEY to design public space, it doesn't work as we can do in the centers of big cities, because the lifestyle of people is not to go hang out far from the house to meet friends. It doesn't work like this. So this concrete bank is quite abandoned, and I would like to design on this one. And my first, it's still on work, of course. I didn't finish the project, but I worked first on the restaurant one, which is the most, I would say, expensive design. And it should be something really related to the lifestyle of people in KLONG TOEY, something which is both connected on the right to the public space, which is the street, and at the back on the left-hand side to some really more intimate space, closed space for the people, for the community people. And the first floor really opened and throughout, so that it's of course an open community space for interaction and workspace, of course, the working restaurant space. And on the upper floor, the family could live. So that's it for now. And I have some research to design the other prototypes architecture with scrap elements from the construction sites that are around the slum, and they have a lot of scrap of like this fabric they use for the scaffoldings, and I would like to try something really more ephemeral for these prototypes, but I didn't finish yet.
Thank you very much. This was impressive. Well done, this project.